Hello, everybody, and welcome back. Going into part 3 of today's episode of The Burning Wheel. So, Joy.
Oh, we're doing me, okay.
So, Joy. Sometime in the later times from bleeding to death and dying, we cut to you. So Joy, you've, as usual, had some time to sort of flop about the castle. Things.
Okay, well, the first thing I do in that
usual.
next morning, Adam, just so you know what my immediate angry reaction is to all this mega stuff.
Yeah, let's see that.
Is go and find the coin that I put in Agata's room and throw it out a goddamn window.
Okay, perfect. All right. So we see you. I guess we see you there in Agata's room. I imagine Agata at this point, like the next morning, is in the company of the doctor or wherever you end up, but not in your room.
Yeah. Why would I be in my room?
And so you go in there, and things are the way you left them. And you find the coin where you buried it. And take it out, and what do? Hurl it out a window?
I go to the nearest window and I hurl it out.
Okay, so we see it flip, catching the wan gray light of the morning once, twice, and then disappear into the fog. So then you're in Agata's room by yourself, and Agata's not around still. What are you gonna do? Yeah, exactly. There's that moment of like,
Don't be fucking with my stuff.
I don't think there's anything I really need to do to Agata. What I need to do...
She's probably got some cool witch shit lying around.
I mean, that's true, but like, no. What I need to do is I need to either speak to Agata, and she's not here, so I assume that she's somewhere doing witch things. That could be anywhere. Speak to the king, or Soren?
You're like, who can I gotta talk to somebody. Yeah, I mean, you want to circles up somebody to talk to?
I don't need to circles up the king.
That's true. The king's the only one of those you don't have.
We have a lovely relationship. So I think I'm gonna go and find him first of all. Okay. Because I've had enough of this like serving other people thing. I want to let's get back on track with the king.
How old is Joy?
It's 27.
All right. So it took you 27 years to finally get sick of this serving other people bullshit.
No. You misunderstand me. Serving other people that are not the king. The king is fine.
All right. So so you can go find the king. It's morning. I think the king and the queen are probably having breakfast.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah. I think
there's like a private dining area or something.
It's private, but nothing really is to you. So the king, where the king and queen take their breakfast. You can.
And so I push the door open to this place and rap on it after having already opened it, as if to announce my August presence.
One of the kings. I don't watch enough Downton Abbey to know what the king's breakfast servant would be, but the guy who's responsible for keeping riffraff out during this gives you a look like and kind of like what was that, Dave?
He's a pancake.
That's not the term. No, the royal pancake. So there's a servant or whatever who kind of like scoffs as you push by. And the king and the queen are sitting together. They've just finished eating, so the servants are like taking their plates.
I'm also assuming that Lady Greyblade is in the vicinity.
Oh, always, yes.
Yeah,
his valet, something like that. Yeah. The Lady Greyblade is standing nearby. I think this room has there's a balcony attached to it, so it's got a big set of glass doors on one side. There's the table, and the room is lit with natural light, the kind of light coming through from outside. The doors obviously are closed because of all the snow and cold outside.
I doff my hat and bow very ostentatiously. We're very sort of over the top to the king and say, "Your Highness." And then to the queen, "Your Highness."
I think on your way over to them, you stumble, or like, that thing where you don't realize your leg is asleep or something, and you try to walk on it, you can like fall a little bit.
I recover adeptly, but yeah,
let's-
there's
yeah.
definitely a limp there.
Yeah, I think. Do you have like a tumbling or like a?
I'm sure I have something.
I don't necessarily
that can
need you to roll. I'm just curious
be
if you.
suitable. I have
Farm that test. Farm it. Get the XP.
no, I actually don't. I have like sleight of hand and throwing and
Okay, well let's
stuff like
have
that.
you. I mean, you feel yourself.
Oh wait, no, I have climbing.
Yeah, I don't feel like.
Are you clumsy?
I'm not clumsy.
No. I guess here's the thing. I'll give you the situation. You tell me how you react. You start to walk, and you feel your leg kind of give out, and your intent is what to do, like a little roll and get back up to your feet.
Yeah, I think so. Like if I'm gonna fall on my face, I try and turn it into like I did this on purpose
Sure.
kind of
Okay.
move.
Yeah. All right. So there isn't necessarily like an acrobatics or tumbling like skill in the game. So we'll get you to make a speed test.
Okay, so my stride is 6 because it would be 7, but I'm lame.
Yeah. And this is just sort of the first sign of that happening. Just call it like an ob 2 speed test.
Ob 2 speed.
Yeah, because it's
Okay.
unexpected, but you're just trying to keep your
Okay, hang on.
balance. Trying to because your intent here is not to make a fool of yourself.
Haven't done a speed test yet. I'm base obstacle 2. Boom. 0 successes.
Okay. All right. So you fall, like you go to like, you're like, oh shit, and your leg gives out, and you kind of like fall to the ground. The king, we get a reaction shot. The king kind of like looks at you like, is this a joke? And the queen immediately gets up and like rushes to your side. And she's like, my God, are you all right? And like crouches down, and the king kind of gives you this like, oh, come on. Like he doesn't actually say anything, but he kind of makes a gruff sound.
Yeah.
And she comes over to you, and in the silver light of the winter sky, and in the blush of morning, she's like just like gorgeous. She's beautiful, and she's smiling kindly at you and trying to like keep you calm. She's being genuinely like really like actually nice. And
Never fear, Your Majesty.
she
Never,
helps you.
or Your Highness. Never fear. I just lots of late nights, long nights spent not asleep, and so my coordination little.
she scowls and she says, "Are you unwell? Is that witch mistreating you?" And she scowls for a moment at her husband when she says that. She's like, "Is that witch mistreating you?"
Oh, so many things to do. So many things.
Like they've
asked of
had
me.
you Joy, you can read their body language well, and you know they've had an argument or at least a discussion about this recently. So
as I'm sort of like pulling myself to my feet and dusting myself off in a far too dramatic manner, as everything that Joy does is very over the top. I say, not only has, of course, our friend the witch been is that the polite term? I suppose.
Yeah, she kind of scowls, and I think that she's taken a bit of a step back from you now that she knows you're okay, but she hasn't like fled back to her chair. So are you walking up to the table?
I am, yeah.
Okay, so she's walking back to her chair.
Yeah.
I think the correct term is demonically challenged.
Not only has the witch had me very busy, but others have seen my lending out to her some sort of invitation to ask things of me as well. Now, I am more than happy to serve in far more than my capacity as an entertainer for His Majesty and Her Majesty at any time. I am at your beck and call. I live to serve. But do I live to serve the whole castle? I think that's more dependent on what you would want.
The king says, "Is there a punchline to your complaining, Joy, or are you simply here to fill my ears with whining before my day begins?"
The punchline is that I think I look a lot better in green and gray than I do in black drab. And the Megas has been very demanding of my time. I think I deserve a pay raise if I'm working as a spy master, don't you?
He raises his eyebrow and he says, "I have one spy master already and need not another. If the Magus sees fit to make use of you, then who am I to stand in his way?" And he grins because he knows. He's like, I'm the king. I do what I want. But
Yeah. Well, that's all well and good, Your Majesty. Of course, you do as you please. And if I serve at your beck and call, then I suppose I serve at the beck and call of those that you say I have to.
humor me, Joy. What has the Magus Diptera got you doing? Fetching Eye of Newt. Are you to serve every magic user in the kingdom? Shall I conjure up a hedge wizard from the village? You can serve him as well.
Apparently, I am in somewhat of demand. Yes, among your magical community. Why, I'm not sure. But the Magus has been having me spy on your other sorceress. As well as, talking to people, obviously, as is his wont.
Has he said why he has cause to suspect Agatha?
No, why? Just do it.
And he
Truth be told, Your Majesty, I am exhausted. So many late nights, and I am not one to miss my beauty sleep. After all, she says with a smile that she tries to make look as tired as possible.
Yeah, he
I am hoping that you might consider taking me back into your personal service. I have missed the warm fireplaces and the kind offerings from your table.
Yeah, he says to you, so you've come to me begging for a reprieve of your labors. It was my understanding that this sort of weakness was whipped from you at a young age. When you were brought into my court, I understood you to be tireless. Is this not something that you learned, or have you grown soft here at the court? And he's not mocking you. He's just like, I thought you you were tough. Weren't you? Isn't that weird?
If you need see them again, I can show you where I was whipped. Plenty of time in my long tenure with my former masters. But I was also under the understanding that in this situation, I am not a slave.
He nods, and he says, I keep no slaves in this castle.
And so, like any servant of this place, I say, gesturing around to, the valet and the, whatever, whoever's in the room. I merely speak to you about my personal situation, and how it grates on me. I am a creature of humor and, joy, and skulking is not my strong suit.
He laughs and he says, strange, for I've seen you skulk about the halls more than once. As to your talent for it, I can't say. Though I have...
If you've seen me skulking, Your Majesty, then my skulking must not be very good.
He nods. You have other talents, and I have missed of you. Though if both the Magus and the court wizard have use of you, I'm hard pressed to take them away. I feel like you want the king to do something here.
I do, yeah.
So what do you want? What's your intent?
I'm trying to get him to take me back into his personal protection.
Sure.
The situation of sitting at the foot of the throne rather than wandering around serving everybody.
Right. Sure. Okay.
This is what I want.
All right. Yeah. I think that's fair. You're gonna have a hard time convincing him of this, but let's see how it goes.
Okay.
So I think the task here is, persuasion.
Yeah.
You're telling him look, it would be better for you to just listen. I'm getting run ragged here. I'm your servant. I'm here for a reason. Let me do my job. Let me be your funny guy.
Okie dokie.
So yeah, let's have you roll that. You're gonna get help from the queen.
Oh, lovely.
The queen, you're talking, and the queen says, the queen says to him, she's like, oh, Thomas, let her do her job. Besides, these are mirthless times, and I know I could use some cheering up. And she smiles at you and kind of gives you a look like, see, I'm on your side. Like, I'm helping.
My queen, anytime.
So she'll assist you. What's the threshold for 2 helping dice for persuade? Because she's got hella persuade.
I don't know.
5?
It's either 5 or 6.
I can't remember. Yeah, it's in that range.
Where would this be?
Under help, like helping rolls.
Meow.
She either gives you 1 or 2 dice.
I'm not good.
It's 5.
Helping
Okay.
and advancement. Oh, I almost had it.
Thank you, chat. Yeah, so 5 for help, 7 for forks. Okay, so she's got she's definitely got at least 5.
Okay, so I get 2
Persuade.
dice extra from her.
Yeah.
And then I would like to fork in falsehood because
Do you have persuasion?
I don't. Oh
Yes,
no, I
so
can't
it's not
fork it.
It's
Yeah.
not a skill. Yep.
Okay, never mind.
Oh, she can't help with her persuasion if you don't have it, so she's just helping with her her will. Yeah. So instead
Oh.
you just get the 1 extra die.
Oh, okay.
But she's tied to your failure too. So if the king's like, "No, I gave you a command, get back to work." He's going to be mad at her for getting involved.
I mean, we'll find out. Here we go.
The obstacle is 6.
Oh my god, there's no way I'll make it. Not a single fucking chance in hell. Every time this has been the case, it's been like, well, it's all 12. Like, fucking
Yeah.
hell.
Well, you're trying to convince the king.
You don't have persuade, and you're trying to convince the king.
He is the king, yeah. This was like when Agatha tried to convince me to treason, and I was just like,
Okay, so I mean, it's another test towards persuasion, and I mean, you could spend a fate on it if you wanted to.
How many
but,
do I need to learn it? I don't understand the
it's
mechanic.
10 minus your will, I believe.
Okay,
10 minus
so
your will
5.
exponent,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right.
So you're what, 2 or 3 in now.
No, I do not need to re-roll any 6s. I would have to get like an astronomical fucking level of dice.
Okay. So he
you may have just helped me.
You're welcome.
Well, I think the thing is here, what you wanted was him to like call you back to like hang out with him and make him laugh and like go back to your old job.
Yeah.
Um,
That's all I want.
I think what he says to you, is, he says, if the members of my court, especially my spy master, has use of you, then I expect you'll serve them as you serve me. These are dark times and no time for humor and pratfalls. Once the kingdom has been restored to some stability, come to me again, and I may have a place for you at my side, but for now, we have no room for your jokes. You'll be of more use to my spy master than you will at my side. And he looks at you, and he's not angry. He's not like, how dare you? He's just like, basically what he said, like, this is no time for a jester, no time for a fool. We don't need fools. The spy master is doing a more important job. And if he has use of you, then that's where you should be. You don't get the impression that he's like, I don't need you, you're not worthless. It's just you're needed elsewhere.
Is there like a title or something attached to her being the court jester that gets removed from this?
No. There's no title. There's just like you're known to be the fool. I think the thing is here is that it's less like all you've really done is remind him of how like gloomy and shitty things are right now, where he's just like, no, I don't have time to listen to your jokes. And maybe like in the spirit of in the sort of spirit of being forthcoming about the things that Joy might know, he's doing that thing where he's not really talking about you, he's talking about himself, and he's really saying like, look, if I was doing a better job, I would deserve to laugh. But this is no time for me to be mirthful. Like, I've got more important shit to worry about.
Well,
so it's with a heavy heart he casts you away.
Well, Your Highness, I can't say anything against you. Obviously, I do as the highest lord in all these lands commands. But a tale from someone who has been in dark places in past years. Surrounding yourself with shadows leads only to you becoming a shadow of what you were. And I'm a light in the dark.
He looks at you and scowls and he says, I never thought of you as a light, Joy. Your humor, as with your lineage, is gallows born. And while I would love to be able to be distracted from what's before me, now is not the time. And he sighs and he says, I keep you around to speak truth, Joy. And perhaps you can still serve me in that regard. I have a request for you. While you serve my spy master and my court sorcerer in equal measure. I know skulking is not your strong suit, but listening is. If you hear anything you think I should know about in your missions for these two, you'll bring it to me, won't you?
Thrice I have had someone ask something of me, and thrice it has been to listen. The first thing that you need to know, Your Highness, is that your spy master and your dear friend, Soren, are talking privately about you.
He laughs and he says, if Soren wasn't gossiping about me to everyone that he knew, I would think there was something wrong with him.
Very well. You already know that, then. Do I know anything else in this past
Now,
little while?
he says that. Are you telling him this for a reason? Like, are you trying to make him... Because, like, if you want to start sowing chaos here, you have that opportunity. But I'm curious what your intent is, I guess.
I actually want to ugly truth him.
Okay.
And I have a truth. I don't know if you would consider this a truth, but from what I have read of the situation, Joy would say something like, while you may think that you are surrounded by friends, I think perhaps the sharks are circling, and there are deeper waters in which you could fall.
I love that he's like, yeah, I'm feeling a little worried about how the situation is here. I'm kind of stressed out. And you're like, yeah, but also everyone wants to stab you in the back. So, like, watch out.
But
You should be.
But I am your friend. See, that's the whole plan here.
All right, Darth Nazari. There, let's have you roll. Let's have you roll ugly truth. That there are conspiracies. I mean, this is a true statement. I think we can agree as a group. There's a true statement that there are conspiracies at play. I think let me find the difficulty for this ugly truth here. There's one that's like political. It's a political truth. Right?
Yeah, it's 2 or 3.
Yeah, I think it's 3.
3 if it is true and uncomplicated.
Let's see. So your intent is to what?
What I want is, though he has failed to agree to let me back in, sort of thing. What I want is for him to need me, like know that I am faithful and that I am his loyal servant. This is a whole thing where it's like, look at all these people who might not be, but I am, like, come to me.
Right. Okay. So you want the king, his paranoia to you're stoking the fires of his paranoia so that he will see you as someone with his best interest in mind.
Yes, someone who he can trust.
Right. Okay.
Who
Sure. Perfect. Okay. All right. I think that's a complex political situation.
So is that 3?
Let's see. 1, 2, 3. That's 4.
That's 4.
Yeah.
Okay. So let me see if I have any forks.
You got
that I can
Persona and Fate
fork.
too.
Could I fork in falsehood? No, it's an ugly truth. They're diametrically opposite.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have any forks, but I do have a persona that I'm gonna burn for an extra
Die, yeah.
die.
Nice. Yeah, make sure to mark that Persona.
And then you said base ob 4.
Yes, yeah, base ob 4.
Here we go.
All right, you got 3 successes.
Fate.
Yeah, you've
Fate
got
to reroll.
you've got 2 6s.
Do it. I believe in you.
Oh
Yes!
shit!
Yes!
All right,
And another one.
Just fucking go. Keep
Oh!
going.
Another one.
Keep going.
They're blowing up. Oh, it's the ugliest truth. All right.
That was great.
So I will make a note here. The king believes that conspiracy is forming against him, but only like vaguely.
Mm-hmm.
But Joy can be trusted. That was a significant roll. Okay. He's already all fucking off center because of his girlfriend getting married. So
The added but Joy can be trusted is so big. It's such a huge thing.
So I don't think he says anything, but you feel it sink in, right? Like he just kind of like leans back and like that kind of gloomy cast comes over him where he's just like, enemies everywhere. Like, like you can see you've planted the seed of doubt.
And Joy's sort of standing next to him, nodding, like she's understanding what he's thinking.
The queen is looking.
Nodding.
The queen is looking at the two of you like, "Oh God, what's going on?"
And
here?
and while I'm doing it, I reach over to the table and like take something off of it and like eat whatever's available.
Right, take a bite out of like a roll off of his plate.
Like, oh yes, my lord, yes. Like,
yeah.
Tuck away the rest of it for later.
And he nods and he says, It's been too long since I last spoke with the Magus. And he turns to his valet, or whatever, his valet, and he says to him, he's like, go and find Magus Diptera. Bring him to me. I have to speak with him. And the valet is like, but my lord, and he shakes his head and he's like, you heard me, go. And he turns to you, Joy, and he says, you as well. He like waves like, get the fuck out of here.
But you told me to go and see the Magus, my lord. What, should I be here for whatever he's going to?
No. I haven't heard from Agatha in some time. Go and find out what she's up to. I'm sure she has some use of you.
Yes, my lord. I aim to please. Your Highness. Yes, fine. And then spin and march off. Little limp, like on the first step after the spin, like, oh, okay, good.
Okay.
And then,
All right.
and then out of there.
Sure. Okay. I feel like if we were playing Blades in the Dark, I would fill in another segment of my like the King's slow descent into madness clock.
Yeah.
Like he's fine, but like God's dead, and now you're telling him like his spy master and his court sorceress are fighting each other, and like he's
I'm
slowly.
off to find.
It's becoming ever easier for Agatha to convince me to off him once I gain.
I'm off to find Agatha.
Yeah. I mean, he's the guy who has the keys.
Hey, do you know who's already totally mad?
So meanwhile, Brother Miro,
Yeah.
yes, you find that God has blessed you with protection against this terrible winter. What do we like? Can we get a scene of that? Of you like having that revelation? Like is it gradual? Do you wake up one morning feeling kind of itchy and then it happens over time, or do you just like wake up covered in thick fur?
I I think it happens all at once after he has some sort of like prophetic dream about it. Well, I mean, it's corruption. It's not his faith. He's not used his faith for a while.
Yeah, you interpret it as being a gift from God, but
yeah. So like subconsciously, it's like this prophetic dream because he started to have this belief that he needs to talk to people, and he's been plagued for a while with the idea that people don't like listen to him. He's been trying to convince people of stuff recently and failing. So
oh, you know what, Miro, you wake from this dream. You know, you're having this strange dream. You wake from you hear a sound of like a broom handle or something, like banging on the floor from below. And it's your uncle. He's banging to wake you up. Oswald, he shouts from below. He's like, Miro, go outside and fetch some firewood. It's freezing in here. He's like, go do it. I don't want to leave. And he's just like waking you up to go out and get firewood. But you're not cold. You can see like frost on the windows and like, but yeah, you awake warm and comfortable. And then I think you, did you have a mirror in your room, or like where would be the first time, like, would you see your hands, or what's the thing that shows you this blessing?
Yeah, I'm Tonsured, right? So I need to bind up my hand like at the beginning of the day.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be it. Like going to like grab the bandages and like, oh.
Right. Yeah. You probably have like a wash basin or something, and so you go over to it and you look into the basin. And you see like this collar, and like your hair has like grown, I think, like long and tangled with the fur. And what's Miro's? What he was describe to me. What happens?
I think he's like looking for a while, and he starts to touch it, and then he starts to, he has like a little mini episode, I think, of tongues and fervor. He starts to cry like happiness. He's like, yes, I have been chosen. My faith is reaffirmed. And he starts like shouting and crying, and his uncle's probably like,
right. What starts as like hyperventilating turns into like mumbling and babbling, and then you have like an episode, and we can hear like more banging on the ceiling, and down below, your uncle is like, "There's no use pretending to throw a fit. It's only getting colder."
Yeah, so he runs downstairs, like not getting dressed.
Right, you're just in your bed clothes.
Uncle.
So you force your uncle to make a steel test.
Yeah, totally.
So you come downstairs, and Uncle Oswald sees you. He's like, "What's all the noise of?" And his eyes go wide. I think that he. I mean, I don't know. Let's see. His steel's probably not very good.
It's not very good.
No. I don't have a character sheet for him, so I'm just gonna roll. Let's say like, I don't know. 4.
At one point we referred to his will as 2.
Yeah, he's not a willful dude. So even with a couple of successes, he hesitates. He rolls well. He steels himself a bit. Like you see him. I think that he's wrapped in a blanket. And he turns and he sees you, and he just like freezes up and like
isn't steel open-ended?
Yeah, I guess it is.
Yeah.
Oh shit. All right, let's see. Doesn't help him.
I was just. Yeah.
So you have a moment to like speak. He's gonna stand and drool. So he's just staring at you like he's not sure what to do or say.
I have been blessed. It truly was the will of God to bring the winter down upon us. And those who maintained the faith are the ones who are going to be saved. I must tell the people.
All right. Do you want to convince him that this is a miracle?
Yeah.
Instead of like demonic possession, or let him decide on his own?
No,
okay.
he needs to know. He's the first one being
perfect. All right. So your intent is to get him on board, where he's just like, what is he? Your nephew? My nephew has been blessed by God. Okay, yeah, sure. I think that's there's a religious skill there that you could use. Doctrine?
Yeah, I can.
Because you're not persuading him to do anything. You're just proving something to him.
Yeah, what have I got? Religious.
And lo, did God clothe him in the fur of the beasts, so that like, is there precedent in a holy document somewhere about this?
I don't know. That would be. Should we do that wise first? Should we link the wise and then do?
Yes. Yeah. Totally. Let's have you roll, because you have like a weird history, right?
I do. I have obscure history, which I think we'd go for here instead of religious history. Okay, so what would be the odd on obscure history? Do you think?
2. What are you trying to establish? That God changes God has in the past, at least in some apocryphal text. Well, you're not calling on religion. You're calling on like people being not mutated, but like changed over time, and then you're going to try to tie that into religion, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it totally is, because we've got like the whole wolf house thing to draw on.
Okay. So this is a thing that has
Oh
happened.
God, we do.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Okay. All right. So roll. Let's say ob 2.
Okay. You don't fork anything into wises, do you?
You can. Yep.
Can I fork in conspicuous now that I have it? Like
Later, not for this one. This is just
Yeah,
to
it's not gonna
establish.
help you know things.
Yeah, this is just to establish facts. All right, so you got it, but you didn't. This is a link test. You didn't exceed it, so just mark the difficult test, and it's at 0. So now you're gonna go ahead and make your suasion test, and you're persuading him to believe you that you have this. You're like, what? So what story do you tell of? Because remember, the shapeshifting into wolves is like a witch's curse, and you want to try to avoid that. So what obscure historical fact do you call upon?
I call upon the fact that once, as Uncle, was it not said that to bring the faith across from the inner sea, that God granted some of his messengers wings, that they might fly like gulls across the bay,
Right.
impeded not by shallow waters of doubt?
As God is Lord of men, so too is he Lord of beasts, and his alchemy works in strange ways. I love it. It's so good. Yeah, God just plays mix and match with animal parts and human parts. It's fine.
Yeah, totally.
Cool. Okay. Yeah. So he's like trembling in fear or religious terror or something, and now you can try to angle him in that this is indeed a miracle.
Okay. What's the difficulty? His will was 2.
I believe we established that his will is a staggering 2.
A staggering 2.
Talking, doctrine and conspicuous, I think, are my 2 ones here.
Okay.
Arthur, none yet. Base obstacle 2. Come on, Uncle. You
got him.
Love it.
Okay. So you see in him a change, right, where he goes from fear to religious awe, and he drops to his knees and like clutches it at his chest. And I think that what happens is like he's grabbing for like a religious like icon that he would normally, like, maybe he hasn't worn it in years, but in out of habit in this religious turn, he falls to his knees and like tries to grab it at this thing, but hasn't got it, and so reaches out to you sort of helplessly, like weeping, and like his mouth is moving but no words are coming out. He's seeing you the way that other people have seen you now. He's seeing not Miro, his layabout weirdo nephew, but Miro chosen by God. And God must not be dead if God can grant these miracles, and like he's lost in this moment.
Yeah. Steel yourself, Uncle, for it is not more firewood you need to sustain yourself, but the heat and fervor of true belief in God in your heart to warm you in this difficult time.
He reaches for your hand, right? Like he's trying, like he's reaching out. Do you like put your hand in his?
Yeah, like give him a furry hand.
Yeah, he takes your hand and he presses his tear-stained, wrinkled cheek against the fur of the back of your hand, and just like sobs in religious terror, and says nothing, but just like cradles your furry arm against his hand. And so you're just out there, and somewhere someone in the distant future he'll retell this tale, and in the canon of Miro, this will be like the revelation of Uncle Oswald in a stained glass window somewhere of him clutching your ape paw to his face, and both of you in your bed clothes, and you can see his body is shivering because the heavy down quilt that he had wrapped around him has fallen to his legs, and so he's just like shivering, holding your warm hand to his face.
Yeah. So I say, now, Uncle, I must share this gift. I must tell the other people. Those who are shaken can become stoic once again, seeing the hand of God in his chosen, understanding that though in a time of strife, his works endure through me, his chosen servant.
So good. Do we ever decide what Oswald does? Like he's a courtier, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
A bad courtier.
He's not that important, but he's a minor functionary at the court. All right, what do you want him to do? Do you want him to go and just like start spreading the word of your change?
I think I want him to like set up like a minor court like thing. Because I'm gonna go and preach out in the streets right now, but I need him to set me up the audience, because you know how I do with the court and how I leave the court.
Okay, so you want him to go and gather up ye faithful, so that you'll have an audience of people that actually matter.
Yeah, totally.
Okay, all right.
You could go get thrown out of somewhere.
Sure. And you're looking for nobles, right? You want like other nobles?
Yes, he has those circles. I do not. I don't have any noble circles in my life paths.
Okay. All right. So he is okay. Can we talk about somebody have the circles like stuff? I don't have him statted up yet, but I'd like to figure out what his circles are. Does somebody have those rules in character creation handy?
Oh, gosh.
Just what they're based on, because I'm gonna throw a number on it, but
you need the questionnaire.
Yeah, like just what do you use to originally set
So
up
starting circles is half will exponent rounded down, increased by +1 die if 50 or more RPs were spent on property and relationships.
Okay, all right. So he's probably got a circles of like
1 or 2.
Well, starting at 1 or 2, but he's older. He's been around a while. I think he probably has a bunch of affiliations and stuff that he can use. I'm gonna give him 4 circles. I'm gonna give him an affiliation with the nobility because he's a lord. So +1 die. And I think that'll be all the stuff that's appropriate right now. Okay, let's have him roll his circles. So he wants to call forth for you, just other nobles, other religious nobles, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Can he use my reputation of blessed by the angels for doing this?
You can help with circles.
Yes.
So that gives him another die, basically.
Mhm.
Okay. I think this is relatively easy because the nobles here, for the most part, are pious, right? They're susceptible to this bullshit.
Excuse me, this bullshit is
Okay,
true.
fine. All right. What's great is
God.
so the real winners. Let's be clear about this. The real winners in this whole situation are the dark powers that are tricking you into thinking you're blessed by God. You're basically setting up a demon cult without even realizing it.
Yeah, like I don't think I ever had any assumptions that resurrecting God was actually going to lead him to be like a good dude.
Right? Yeah. Oh, that's so good. Okay. All right. So let's say you want him using him to use his circles test. You want him to bring forth nobles. I'll treat this as being like a gang, essentially, right? So he'll find one person who knows other people who know people, and they'll all bring kind of their friends to the fore. and it's the same station rank or social class, so you're not going to get anybody above kind of petty lord. Disposition or knowledge different from members of circle. I think I'm going to add one, people who, like, not just the pious, but the ones who would be like, oh, come and see, and the curious, right? The people who are like,
Yep.
I don't know if this is real, but this would be interesting to go and see. And time and place, do you want it now? You want him to go and call them forth from the court, like, come right now, it's time to hear a sermon?
No, there can be a little bit of time because I need to preach to the common folk first. It's still my intention that.
So what do you instruct him before he like, you know, hastily dresses and heads out to the court? Are you like, meet me? Is there a particular time that you say, like what's the time and place that you call them forth?
The time and place is going to be like tomorrow.
Okay, what time? Because you know everybody's going to be there, right? Like,
yeah, like before, or just like after their meal or something, like evening.
So like at sunset?
Yeah, something ominous and.
Okay, and where?
On the steps of the ruined church.
I mean, that's certainly an option, but also, like, if you want to start a new like Oswald, you've won him over, you can use his house, right?
Yeah, let's bring them here out of the cold.
Okay.
I mean, in the place that it happened, which must
Right.
be a holy
It's holy
place,
now,
right?
yeah.
It is the blessed
Okay,
transformation
So
location.
here's the thing. This is a clear and easy set. So you're giving them some time. They're a bit weird. It's gonna be ob 2 for him. If he succeeds, they're gonna come to you either legitimately interested in the sense that they're like looking for divine reinforcement, or curious at least to be like, oh, something interesting is happening. This is cool. This might be a distraction. If he fails, they're here to heckle and disprove, right? You get a crowd of skeptics who are like, boo, heretic. And they'll need to be swayed.
Yeah, the one thing I can do.
So let's roll. He gets a modifier of 2, right? 1 help from you and your divine message, and one from his nobility. He has no Artha. Base ob, what did I say? 2? Here we go.
2. Yep.
All right, Uncle. How do you do? No problem. All right.
Thanks, Oswald.
So he rushes off. Now, Joy and Alessandra both. You hear of this, right? No matter what you're doing or whatever, you know that at the very least, unless you want to do a little bit more investigating, a minor noble. There has been a miracle. There's been a miracle. You don't know that it's Miro specifically. You hear that that there's going to be an unveiling.
One second. I believe what you're referring to is a miracle. Okay, sorry, Cody.
You lose a fate point. So yeah, there's been a miracle, a divine sign of God's living power, and yes, come forth, everyone, at tomorrow at sunset and see the miracle, witness God's power. And so you hear that this is happening. You can choose to investigate more or whatever as you go. However, I want to see what you want to do with Miro next, and then we'll cut back to what happened with potentially Agatha being hospitalized. We'll see if Agatha gets to attend this or not. So, Miro, your uncle hastily pulls on his coat. He doesn't even bother really like getting dressed. Like, he puts on enough clothes that he can be taken seriously at court, pulls his coat on, and tears still in his eyes, says to you, he's like, thank you. And you can't tell if he's thanking you or God, but he's just like, his life has purpose once more. And he flees out into the cold and disappears. Where do you go, Miro? What do you do?
Right, let's get up on those the steps to the unfinished church where some of the people have already died praying. Let's hold an impromptu. Let's get a crowd going. Let's let the common folk know.
Okay,
so you might think I'm haunted. No, I'm also blessed.
So do you just leave? Do you just like leave and you put your coat on, or do you just like walk out into the cold with your fur?
I I'll put my robe on, and it's totally going to be like, behold, and just like lay dry.
So you cloak and hood, and shadowy head out into the early morning snow. We cut to the steps of the cathedral, and during the day, it isn't just frozen corpses. Those though that line, certainly there's the people out, knelt down and dead. But there are the living here, and you're not the only like apocalypse cult leader who is using this place to like stage. So I think we see a man, like a naked man, like just straight up naked. You can see his fingers and toes are starting to like freeze, among other appendages starting to get frostbite. And he's like lashing himself, and his blood is like freezing on his back, and he's just like wailing and moaning about like, spill the blood, the hot blood of man, awaken God, bring him back. And he's like, there's other people kind of watching him. I think that there are like legitimately people who are here to pray, but there are also kind of tourists, like weird religious tourists who are just walking around like, wow, look at this guy, look at that naked guy, he's just like whipping himself, like, oh my. And then also the looters, but they mostly operate at night.
He's got further. He gets to join the Resurrect God cult. Let's start with him.
Yeah.
Like, unless he died.
So they're
He's got fervor.
there's a kind of sad strangeness to this place, right? There are the actual church is barred up and shut, right? The legitimate church is like, no, get the fuck out of here. This is an unfinished kind of, like we were talking about it, like kind of looking like broken ribs extending up into the white sky. And like it's macabre. There's bodies everywhere. There are, I think there are crows, kind of in the edges of the buildings or up on posts, basically like waiting for people to die so they can pick at them before they freeze. And over everything, the howling of the wind. So no one really notices you when you approach.
I'll start talking to this dude because like I see someone who wants and deserves to be saved.
So as you approach, he's got this big heavy flail, and he like flails himself, and like you can hear the tearing of skin as he pulls the barbed hooks away. Bits of blood fleck into the snow, and all around him there's just like a crime scene. There's just blood frozen in the snow all around him, and he stops and he looks at you, and there's this dripping flail, and you can see him trembling. And actually, now that you're this close, you can see that he's had servants or other faithful scaffold him to where he's standing. So he's standing up on a box, and there's wood, like a wooden plank that has been nailed to the box and nailed to the ground in a kind of like platform, and it's been like tied around his waist so that like he's not even standing on his own. He's just kind of hanging from this thing and using all of his strength to whip himself. He's half alive. And you walk up, and he like stops and he looks at you, and he sees you standing in his blood. I guess the question is, does this guy know you already? Because you got a bit of a rep. You're cloaked and hooded though, so it's up to you whether you reveal your face to him or not.
Look, yeah, I'd like his further, but we got to check. I think we. I don't know. Was I eligible for that?
Yep.
Could you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I just noticed you all stopped moving, so I figured it was me. Yeah. So I ask him. So I say, brother, that you would sacrifice so much of yourself to show your faith, to show your conviction in these dark times is heartening. But were there a better way? What say you?
He shakes his head and he says, no better way, brother, no better way than sacrifice of the blood. An angel came to me in my dreams. I saw it, and first I gave of him my son, then daughter and wife. Now I flens my skin for God to wake him from his slumber. And he like looks up at the heavens, and he says, hear the call of my blood, O Lord. And you can see he's got like defensive wounds like on his chest and arms. Like they're healed like part way, but he's like deep gouges in his arms and like in his chest. Like someone he was in a fight.
See, now that's a problem because I'm allowed to do that, but I don't think anyone else is. So, do I want to try and get him to repent for his failed ways? Well, I just want to just fucking set the guy on fire.
I was about to say, you know what will grab everyone's attention? Using your divine power to light him on fire, and then while he screams, call them to you.
Advantage, arcane knowledge, illusion, +1 with destroy the sorcerer's fire. Yeah, I've not destroyed anything with sorcerer's fire yet. Let's do that.
All right.
God damn.
All right, so you're going to destroy him with sorcerer's fire. Let's see how that goes. This is an art magic.
I'm gonna laugh my ass off if after all of this cult gathering following, you get murdered by a crazy guy with a flail.
I mean, he's tied to a post and he's mostly dead already. So I don't feel like that's a likely outcome.
It's the demons who spill forth from the place between worlds when he fucks up this sorcery roll that'll kill him.
So
yeah. This game's called Burning Wheel. I have not burnt anyone yet.
Okay.
Right. You have not.
The burning wheel is the sign of the adversary.
Burning other people, Dave.
Okay.
It's burning wheel. Come on.
So the sorcerer chants violent and profane syllables as white fire jets from his fingertips. Base ob 4. I think if you just get the base ob of 4, like you're not attacking him, you just want to light him on fire. He's not really it's not a combat situation. If you can get 4 or better on your sorcery roll, you turn him into a pyre of divine flame, and his screaming and burning and dying will attract a bunch of attention and get you the audience you so desperately require.
Oh, yes, I need to put a bunch of points into this because if this is my last routine check, then I get to advanced sorcery. Yes, this is perfect.
All right, ob 4 sorcery test. This is one of your destroy with sorcerer's fire is one of your things, right?
It's a +1,
okay.
So it'll be ob 5.
Okay.
So I think I need to assassinate actually to make sure that this goes well. But that takes a really long time.
Yeah, I don't think you have time to cercinate in this case.
Yeah, it's 1 hour per.
Yeah, I think it's just time to conjure up flame.
You've got to click. You got to snap your fingers and sorcerer's fire.
Mm-hmm. White fire jets from your fingertips. What's your sorcery at?
It's only at 3. I'm only a baby sorcerer.
You got persona and you can fork too.
Oh. Do you know what would make this really easy?
What's that?
Using your corruption, obviously.
Yes. Yeah, you could have 7 dice if you want to use your corruption instead.
Yeah, it won't advance your sorcery though, Dave. Just so
will it
you
not
know,
increase sorcery?
It will advance your corruption instead. If you substitute your corruption to roll, if your corruption helps you, it will still increase sorcery.
Yeah, do you want help?
Or you have it.
I mean, I think this is you're accidentally setting up the beginning of a demonic church. The gods of darkness will happily give you 2 extra dice for this, which will put you up to 5.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. Let's just do it. Let's do it. 5 dice. I'm into that.
Okay, so I think you spend a fate to get the extra 2, to get the help.
That seems.
Yep. Okay.
Good on sorcery, or do I?
Yeah, it's a sorcery roll. You'll get 2 extra dice. Help from your corruption.
Okay.
Do you have anything that you want? Do you have anything that you want to fork for sorcery?
You know, I don't know that I have anything that I can. I think the forks for sorcery are actually super limited, like aside from assassination, but that works differently.
Yeah, they are very limited.
They're limited to fields of related knowledge, such as astrology, symbology. Forks must be appropriate to the idiom, the spell, and the situation. So actually, like Firewise would be appropriate here, or like that kind of thing. Also, yeah, you can name the spell.
I'll name the spell as well, and I will fork in symbology as well. I will draw upon his own face with his blood, like the marks that are going to conflagrate and
sure
set him off.
Okay.
That seems fun.
All right, and what is the name of this holy fire that you're using to consume this dude?
It has to be really long as well and ridiculous, doesn't it? Yeah.
Suitably florid, I think is the
Suitably florid.
Because this isn't a casting fire on an enemy thing. This is a fire of purification to send his soul to the heaven, right? Like you're not burning a bad guy.
Yeah, it's probably something like the conflagration of the righteous passed down by he chosen by the Lord, or something like this.
Right. Excellent. Okay. All right. So you've got 6, 7 dice.
Yeah, looks like it. Base obstacle you said was
Obviously 4.
4. All right.
There
Rock and roll,
it is. There it is.
Look at him.
All right. So, cool. You conjure up a lot of fire.
God damn.
And there's no consequence for successful casting, right? It's just for failed. So,
I believe so.
all right. So you draw upon him in blood, and conjure forth a great and terrible fire, which ignites him from within. He emits a scream of pain and religious terror as white fire burns from his mouth and eyes, consuming his flesh. His blood lights on fire, and he doesn't fall. He just kind of goes limp on the big piece of wood he's tied to already, and just like starts screaming as he incinerates from the inside. You get everybody's attention, right? Everyone starts to look
I
over.
Turn around. I turn around and I say, brothers and sisters, this man, while strong in conviction, his faith was misplaced. In his own fervor, he deigned to sacrifice those whose sacrifice was their own to make. And as such, he has been purified by the faithful. One of God's chosen. I would speak to you all. I would assuage your fears in this dark and difficult time.
Come, join me by the light of this burning man.
Yeah, totally.
Awesome. All right. So I assume you're gonna make this is like an oratory test. You want to like preach to the masses here.
Yes.
What is your intent for this role?
My intent is it's simply, I think, to I think it's something to set something off in the background, to have people start talking about me again, me specifically, because I've got the reputation blessed by the angels. Is that a reputation or is that a... Let me just check.
Yeah, I think it's a rep.
Yeah, it's a rep there, and I also have a 2 dice reputation with the church. I'm already super into this, but people have forgotten that there can be somebody. So I think all I really want to do is draw attention to myself and hopefully instill some hope in some people, get them talking in a positive way about God.
I love it. Instill hope in the light of this burning.
This is really going to help build community.
This burning flagellant. So I guess if you succeed, people will what will happen? What will be the effect on the world here? The common folk, the people gathered here, will go home and they will start talking about what? Like how will, like, you specifically, like, oh, I saw this thing happen. Miro conjured the fire of the Lord. He is cloaked in fur to protect him against winter. Like, God is
they need to
real.
Yeah, they need to talk about miracles still happen, and Miro is an example of miracles. So yeah, like, they can take that how they want, but it's they haven't had any reason to doubt the whole like God is dead thing. So
Okay. All right. Well, let's have you roll your oratory.
Okay.
And yeah, and this is the first step, I guess. If you Okay, here's what'll happen. So if you succeed, I think no matter what, people will talk. People will talk about this. If you succeed, people will be like, I saw Brother Miro. I was there at the Conjuring of Fire. I saw Brother Miro call forth the light of God. I touched his cloak of fur. I was there. This is real. And people will start like seeking you out. Your celebrity will begin to grow. That'll kind of happen. It'll be positive, right? It'll be seen as a sign of God if you succeed. If you fail, those who know to look for the signs of demonic infestation will take notice, right? Like everyone will remember, but people who are like, I don't know. This seems
the Inquisition is like,
this seems like other work. Yeah.
Didn't the devil have?
Yeah, exactly. So I'm talking about both sides of this. I'm talking about the people who are like legit, like church folk will be like, wait a second, and they'll take it to someone who could be like, maybe you're possessed. But also people who are like, oh, hello, demonic sorcerer. Like the people who are kind of into that jam will also take notice. If you fail, you will have lost. You'll lose control of the situation.
I think that's a very good situation.
All right.
All right. Let's do some oratory. What's the difficulty going to be?
Okay, so you've got your oratory skill. You've got advantage from your reputation.
Yep.
I'm going to give you another advantage from your actual sorcery you just used.
Okay, so we're at 5 now.
Yeah. I don't see any reason to give you disadvantage to bump the ob. Are you forking anything?
I'll fork conspicuous because I worked very hard to learn that.
Fuck yes.
And I think that's it, honestly.
Okay.
I could fork in, I guess, suasion.
So the obstacle of oratory is the most common will exponent in the crowd. So I'm going to just say like 3, which is I think average. Yeah, and then you can forks for oratory are like command, persuasion, rhetoric. You have suasion, so you can fork that too.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
Okay. So you said 1, 2, 3, 4 modifiers on top of my 3. Based obstacle 3.
Whew, it was close. And not a great roll, but you got it.
We got it.
All right.
Okay. Routine
nailed
test.
it.
I need one of those. I need one more difficult one. I can be more oratorial as well.
So as Miro, I guess that's where we fade out to our last commercial is Miro preaching to the crowd as this guy dies horribly of the fire from within, much slower than you'd expect. Like his screams go on they punctuate your whole sermon. And
warm yourself by the fire.
Yeah, and these aren't screams of like, oh god, I'm dying, please make it stop. These are the screams of a madman. They're screams of joy, horrible, terrible, burning joy, but not the other kind of joy.
Not me though.
Not that joy. The other kind.
Burning joy.
Burning joy. All right. Well, I mean, you know what? We've still got time. We might see if the other joy gets lit on fire.
Please.
We're gonna take a short break. Stick around. We'll be right back.